Hello, this is Laurie Sullivan again. I've just made a short video here demonstrating the use of some preloaded DMEK graft material, including restaining the material within the injector. You can see here it's in a carrier. The injector cartridge is capped at both ends and within a carrier, which is how it's delivered to the operating theatre. When dealing with these grafts, I like to handle them as much as possible in a submerged setting so we don't have air bubbles getting into the injector. Just snapping off the carrier from the injector there and discarding the carrier. And you can see here that there's a cap at the proximal end of the injector, and that actually does have tiny perforations. And through that, I'm just going to inject some Vision Blue to restain the graft material. And just by rotating it around, that trypan blue can spread and stain the graft. Leave that for 3 minutes and do some other procedures on the host eye, and then we come back to connect the injector to some syringes. Firstly, I do like to connect a tube connected to a BSS filled syringe to the distal end of the injector, and this enables me to aspirate any little bubbles as you see here, but it also gives control of the injector so that you don't have inadvertent leakage and lose your graft. Once that's connected, I can then remove the cap from the proximal end of the injector and connect another BSS filled syringe to that. I'm just twisting the injector and cap against each other there to free it. There, it's off now, and here's the 3mm BSS syringe, getting rid of that little bubble that was trying to get in the way, and just connecting that to the glass injector. Now I'm removing the tubing from the distal end of the injector and just gently washing BSS through the injector so that I get a clearer view of the graft material. It's not easy to see with the contrast changing, but you'll see there's some egress of trypan blue from the distal end of the injector there into the BSS bowl. Coming back to the eye now, and I'm just looking at the graft inside the injector, getting an idea of its conformation within the injector. I can see the S stamp and I can see the scrolls, and I'm planning what direction I'm going to need to hold the graft to have it the right way up from the get-go. So I'm not just rotating that injector to the right now by about 180 degrees and just injecting with little pushes of the plunger, which is the easiest way to get the graft moving. The AC is quite shallow, and we leave it quite shallow so that the graft doesn't move once it's in place. And I can almost see the S stamp there. And just a few taps on the surface helps that graft to unfold and show me that it's the right way up with a single taco fold. Just putting in a suture, even with a 2.4mm incision. If you're injecting fluid into the AC, you can eject the graft through the 2.4mm incision. So I like to close that before doing any significant manipulation. Periodically shallowing the AC and just tapping the graft to see if I can get it into a good position before again shallowing the AC. And just holding and tapping to help it to unfold, nudging it a little bit across, still not in perfect position, but you can easily see the S stamp there. So we know it's the right way around. I previously stripped a 7mm host decimase, and this is an 8mm diameter graft. So getting underneath it, although I've just nudged it and moved it a little bit, and just trying to gently inject an air bubble slowly. The idea of that is to make sure that the graft stays in position and you don't trap any folds. Just injecting some BSS to deepen the AC a bit. The bubble appears to be smaller. Now I'm hydrating the paracentesis incisions and the main wound. Not too fussed if a bit of air comes out because I'm going to inject SF6 in a little while. I'm just aspirating some of that air. You can see it's not quite perfectly centered, this graft, but I felt it was reasonable. And now I'm coming with the SF6, 20%. Thank you for watching.